Hello, everyone. Can you hear me very well? Hello, everyone. Can you hear me very? Just write in the comments if you can follow what I'm saying, if that is visible. Okay. So I just wanted to check if it's visible and audible. So if that is fine, then we can wait for 1 or 2 minutes and then we will begin with our talkings. Okay. I can see the comments that everything is okay. This is very crucial. For people who are not able to see on YouTube, then we can have some people can also watch through um, using Facebook. Yeah, I see. This is Ribeiro. I already know this account is a little different. Just waiting for like 2 more minutes and then we will be flashing with our talkings. If you will have any questions, just let me know. Then I will try to respond. Because you just wrote, I am Ribeiro, and then, yeah, I could see. Okay, you just said it's visible. Facebook people, please, can you make share the video? Maybe that way it will reach more and more people. Because I'm live in 2 places. So the idea today is to go around some of the key points that are important for scholarships, and we will try to look at them from the perspective of from the beginning to the end. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing, because this is our first live. Definitely it's going to be a little different, but we already have 3 people. So guys, you can comment to just know where are you chatting from and your expectation to this live. We are already 3 here. Three people. You just post your comment and we'll be more than happy to give some tips. Inyambane, good, 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 good. Welcome. This is my friend also, Tony Kelimani. Right. Perfect one. Okay. The following videos or lives I'm going to be doing always on the two platforms, like in my profile on Facebook and YouTube. Um, Maybe that way it could reach. And next time our live is going to be during the night. This time I was just trying to experiment to see if it works perfectly fine. And probably next time we will have to have um, more of the two sides. Like who cannot be on YouTube, you could be on the Facebook, and probably that way it would help. Okay, I think now it's 6 minutes. Let me begin with my presentation right here so you guys can follow. And if a question comes in, you just flash it on the comments. When I see it, I'll say something so that you guys can follow as well. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so in this presentation, what are we going to have? Or why should you be in this one? The first is because I'm going to try to bring to you some proven, actionable scholarship strategies that I used personally to help and to succeed in some of the scholarships I got, like Fulbright, Chevening, and many more other scholarships. So I hope you guys can enjoy from it. And the following element we will talk about, I'm going to bring some real insights of how I got the full-time scholarship winner, like how did I get all of it at once. And I think you guys can enjoy from that, and it's going to be very, very nice. I'm going to tell you about the common mistakes people tend to have when they are writing, and I'm going to give you some of the elements you can have to increase your chance. Also, I'll give you some bonus tips for people who are subscribed to this channel so that you guys do not suffer from any element that you might want. Okay, so who is this for? Like the people intended for this um, live. This is for uh, anyone who is looking for scholarships or university admissions, because I'm going to be walking you through what you need to look at when you are applying and try to ensure that you are not lost in the process of application and whatever that might come in between. And also, for those who are looking to go to high school, they will be part of the process. I'm going to be sharing some of the tips that you can focus on. Also, this one is for the university students who are applying abroad, because I know the system is not equal, like in many places where we come from in different points of Africa and any other place. But also, I'm going to be working for professionals. This is also suitable for professionals who are looking for studying abroad or working abroad. This could be very much relevant because this is the same structure that most of the unis and companies and everything like uses ways to have different candidates. Okay, so what you will learn today, very basic. You will have to learn a little bit about how I secured my scholarship in a very general point. And also, you will learn a bit about strategies I used to get a success in this process. It was not easy, but I'm trying to share the best that I know to help you guys secure scholarships. Tips for writing strong personal statement will be also part of it. I'm going to be sharing to you what are some of these tips that I used. And also, I'm going to be discussing some secret for letters of recommendations and interviews, because many scholarships are now available. So you guys do not want to miss it. Also, common mistakes. What are mistakes people tend to have when they are applying for scholarships? So it's really, really important not to be in those ones. Okay, so the key point is, when you see a scholarship, the first thing you don't want to miss is understand what is the timeline. Some scholarships are very clear about that. They tend to share with you the timeline and the things you need to focus on, like when this thing will be released and when this one will not be. So you have to be very careful because that is going to be decisive for you to be aware of, you know, because if you do not focus yourself on that, it might be very, very, very hard to cope with the timing. And this is the same either in the UK applications, USA, or in general Europe. Um, it might be very, very much relevant for you to understand how scholarships like Chevening, Erasmus Plus, Erasmus Mundus, how does that work, and many more scholarship. Very few people know about that, and it tends to be a little bit tough to stick with the rules and how it works and what are the things you need to focus on. And another thing is the challenges I faced, in the process was kind of like self doubt and lack of confidence. Because when you don't know someone who has succeeded, who is a clear example of how things work, probably you might not have such confidence of, you know, I'm going to do it or I'll make it. So most of the time you tend to lose hope. So what I'm trying here is that with what I'm showing you is you guys you have to get some confidence and how that thing work. But the key element that you guys need to think of is the paper, kind of like, for example, now the Fulbright is opened. What you need to think of to try to invest more time is the personal statement, because guys, personal statement is the foundation and the deal breaker for whatever you are applying for as a scholarship. Number one, you have to master the idea that it has a structure. Your personal statement should have a structure because it is where you have to discuss your motivation, some of your experience, and the goals you have. Why are you applying for the scholarship? So if you do not know that the personal statement is what decides whether you'll be taken or not, bear in your mind that this is partially more than half of value to whatever you are applying for as a scholarship. So if you want to secure a scholarship, you have to write so well the personal statement. And the structure should have at least the basic element of an introduction, a motivation where you will write a little bit more about you and the things you have done. And also you will put your experience, what experience you have in the area you wanted to further your studies. Also, you need to look at the leadership things that you have done. How have you performed in the past? So that might be really important for you. Also, what impact have you made? Because we know that everyone is doing something. So leadership is about impact. And the idea here is you need to show that in writing, giving examples of your leadership, the impact you have made, and how clear that should be written is also very important. But more importantly, you need to be authentic. You should not base yourself on just what people say. You have to also be very um, aware about what you need. So you need to write about you, not having people's ideas in it. This is what is about authenticity. You have to be authentic in that. But also, you have to tailor each essay to the scholarship goals. If you are applying for Chevening, definitely you would not use the same personal statement, structure, and everything to apply for Fulbright or to apply for DAAD or to Erasmus Mundus or the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship. So you need to make sure that whatever you are applying, you tailor each essay based on what are the goals, objectives, and aspirations you have. So that is what we mean by tailor. Means to adjust or adapt it according to the scholarship you are applying for. So this is very, very, very important. Some people don't even think of it, but you have to be in your mind that this is very important. So the other piece that will make you be succeeding or in this scholarship are the recommendation letters and the process of interviewing. My key point here is this should be the very initial part of the recommendation letter is the initial part of your prep. If you are preparing for a scholarship, one thing you would want is as the scholarship is opened and you just started filling the form online or in any other way. So you have to make sure you talk to those who are going to be your recommenders, the people who will be writing on behalf of you. All you need is that to make sure that whatever you are writing, you inform the person who is going to write your letter of recommendation so that they are aware of what you are uh, doing. In the interview is another process that you would need to prepare on time and find also people who can just evaluate your stuff. Another thing is choosing referees that know you well. When I say know you well, it's not your cousin, your uncle or sister-in-law. We are talking about professionals who have worked with you or academically or professionally, people who really, really know you. So that could be very relevant because they will decide you based on what they will write. So also you have to share with them your goals and your draft of the ideas so they can have a point about where is this person going, you know, what is this person trying to achieve, so that would be very crucial to do that on time, and it would help you so much. The other element is when you look at the interview tips, you need to be concise. This one here, I have another video in this channel where I talk about some of the key elements to do and not to do when you deal with interviews. So that would be very important. If you haven't watched, you can just check in the channel and you might see some more content. The other element is that you need to use probably the star approach. What star approach mean? Star S represents when you write your idea. This would work if you are working in writing or even in interview, because in writing, your paragraph most of the time should also have a situation, should have a task, should have an action and a result. No matter what result is it, negative or positive, the structure of a paragraph should be written based on this methodology. That would help you so much to craft your idea in a very concise, and that would help you to convey your idea in a sense that it's very clear. For example, if you put a situation where you explain something and then you say what was the task in it, and then what action did you take and what result did you accomplish. So that would most probably tell people about the clarity of your writing and the logic of the ideas. So this would be really important. This is what I see in most of people like me in the past. I was in the same. It was a little bit difficult to engage in a very concise writing where your ideas are well crafted, clear, and they are logic. This is what in most of the people we don't know how to do well. So the next point I'm going to talk about is a little bit the mistakes you have to avoid. The things you should not do at any cost, otherwise it will be very, very bad to your um, discussion. So the key element here is that you need to avoid copy pasting the essays everywhere. This is the opposite of what I say to tailor your essays. At this stage, you need to avoid just going to AI, ask it to write on behalf of you and passed. No, these scholarship boards, they do have AI detectors. If you just go copy something from ChatGPT and then pass it anyway, you will probably not be called, because there are many elements. Because this session is limited, I'm not going to go deeper. if you guys want me to just go over writing one essay, probably I'm going to create another session where I'm going to walk you through about what is the difference between, or how would your essay stand out, so that would be something really um, impressive. You need to avoid that. Number two, you need to avoid ignoring eligibility criteria. Some people, when they see a scholarship, they just run into starting to fill the form. If you ignore the criteria of a scholarship, it means the whatever you do, it's irrelevant because it does not meet the requirement. Even the way you will craft your essay should be based on what the criteria are saying about the scholarship. That is very, very important because your structure should be based on that. And you need to avoid having a weak structure, a structure that does not prove to be an academic. Your structure needs to have at least a structure where it has an introduction, some 2 to 3 body paragraphs, and a conclusion. The process of writing the essay or personal statement, we can still make it one of these days. But you need to avoid weak structures or vague goals. Because when you say, for example, I need to go and study to become a doctor so that people do not die, that is not realistic. It's not realistic. So you need to take some of the objectives very um, open and very clear and specific. Your contribution matters. So you don't need to say, I'm going to do this because something bigger that you cannot even accomplish. Also, another thing you need to avoid is not practicing for interview. Many people are very overconfident, but that sometimes might be very negative. You need to avoid and you need to prepare on time. So this is some of the points that I use and I still use when I apply for many other things. These are kind of like transferable skills. Even if a job, you might want to have um, an application that is very much open, but you know the rules, you know the tricks that they're looking for. And if you don't follow that, that might be very challenging. So the key element is what I do most of the time is research deeply into program's mission. If you want to apply for a Fulbright, which is open now, you need to go and read about what Fulbright is trying to do to people from Africa, Mozambique, Ghana, Malawi, South Africa, Nigeria. You need to look into the context. What is the objective of Fulbright? By knowing that objective, you will know how you will fit into the process. You need to align your goals with the scholarship priority. For example, some goals say that we do not accept, for example, in Fulbright, they do not accept people who are going for medical residence, for example, a 7-year course, a 5-year course. They do not accept that. Then you put yourself into the process of saying, I want to be in a medical resident to be an expert in surgery or some other thing. No, you don't need to do that. You need to go into a website, go to Google and write priorities of Fulbright in Mozambique, priority of Fulbright in Ghana, priority of Fulbright in Pakistan. Why? Because you wanted to touch in one of their priorities so that your goal is met and they find that they are not taking you empty handed. You are someone who is going to add value to what they are working on in the countries, because not every embassy does everything. So some embassies only are in countries, but they are focused in public health, they are focused in education. And when you go and you start talking about the renewable energy, definitely you are not a priority. They will start giving more space to those who are on um, education and public health. So you need to search that on Google. It's very open. You need to highlight your leadership and community impact. All of us have made some certain of impact, either in classroom or somewhere else. So it's really crucial that you talk about what impact have you made, what are barriers have you made, and you wanted this scholarship and furthering your study as a way to resolve the problem that you encounter in your community. That is very important. Also, you need to use data and results in your achievements. When I say data, it's not just numbers, but numbers are part of it. But you needed to go and check what other projects, what other experts have done in my area, and where is the gap yet so far? Where is the gap? So that I can fill this gap at this moment. So it is really, really important. If you don't use data, if you don't quantify, if you are not, you do not reference, let's say the points in general of others, projects, and anything, probably that is going to be hard. So you need to use data, information available related to what you want to study, to sustain what you are looking to share. Some of the tools I used because I was beginning and I did not have support. One was tracking my applications using Excel. I used to put the list of scholarships I need to apply, what I needed, and what have I done, and what are the things I still need to work on. So having these tools might be really important, really, but really important. So you might want to use them for the sake of understanding, like what are the processes you need to follow, and what are the things that are missed behind, because sometimes you apply for 9 scholarships and you do not know, for example, have I submitted the personal statement? Have I done this? So because of that, you end up missing the deadlines. But if you do have, for example, something that tracks your applications, it tends to be easier for you to follow and then manage. Because some people do not have English as a first language, that was my case. I had to use Grammarly, you know. Grammarly was one of those elements in Hemingway that helped me to improve my writing. I did not have anybody who was supporting in the writing. So people were there always trying to recommend so I could use um, some other elements. So that was the way I dealt with my writing. So the other element that could be very important is you need to use tools like you subscribing to Chevening platform, DAD platforms, and the Fulbright platforms for simple reasons, because all of them, they share scholarship tips and many other elements. So you might want to be a part of the process by making sure that you are always into the process and you know what is happening around the applications. And the other thing is you might need to have support groups and mentor, those who have managed to get the scholarship. So they could be very, very helpful in the process of application. I remember talking to someone who won the achievement to ask questions. So it was very, very important because the person gave me some of the ideas and how things were supposed to be done. And it helped me to reflect more on how I need to craft my ideas and whether they were very much clear to whatever I wanted to do. So, guys, if you do have question, you can post. I just showed you this to ensure that you're not lost. You can post questions, and I'll look at them very soon. If you have a question about general thing or whatever you want me to talk about, probably you can just ask, and Anna, we will continue to talk about. So more on it, you guys can find the my channels on um, YouTube. The name is the one, guys, you are here following. This is the YouTube channel, CLISAC Scholarship. Also, we do have the Instagram CLISAC slash kind of like hyphen and LTD. WhatsApp, probably I'll share the link in the description. My personal Facebook, where I post things, is Zacharias, not Zacharias as such, Philip Shikuyo. So you can just look at it, and it's going to be really good to engage with you on a daily basis if you have any question. Okay, so here we move. Final thoughts that I would just give you guys to be aware of. Number one, you just need to know that your story is very, very, very um, important, and that people want to hear it, but you need to tell it well. If you don't know how, this channel helps you a lot. In this channel, I have a lot of content about writing a convincing paper. I'm still preparing what is that? I'm preparing a series on the Fulbright scholarship, so you guys can learn a little bit more how I dealt with Fulbright. And you need to start early and to be consistent in what you are writing. The issue of consistent is a big deal. So you guys might want to check some of my videos about being consistent, but starting early is really determinant for you to improve and make sure you meet the deadline, and that you don't rush in your writing, and then your ideas are clear. But more importantly, it's very crucial in this process to believe in your potential. I at some point felt very much demotivated, limited, and I was afraid that my writing was weak and I would not secure. But we come from English, where English is not the first language, so it happens, sometimes. So you just need to be motivated and try to hear the story of those who have made it. There is no magician. You just need to be consistent and try to seek guidance, and people will help you. Also, you can win scholarship too. This is true. No, most of you might not know me. Some you know me. It is not something out of this world. This scholarship. I used to think the same, but now I'm the living proof that scholarships are for everyone. Once you know what it takes for you to nail it, then nothing will hinder you from succeeding. Okay, so I promised that I would give you kind of like bonus um, offer. So this bonus offer would be kind of support, because I run this for free in this channel. But those who want a direct support, I do have some percentages for you to get from it. Like, we have free strategy guide for attendees. Whatever you want, you just come to this channel, you comment, and then I'll give you guidance on how you can improve some of the elements. But also for individual, you just have a 50% discount in the mentorship, kind of like one-on-one, where I will support you to tailor your writing, um, improve your essay by giving you some feedback, personalized feedback, and try to personalize your uh, essays to meet the requirements of the scholarship. Probably most of them I know what they require. And if you look in this channel, I'm every week publishing 1 or 2 scholarships. So I don't think there's enough excuse to say I haven't had any chance. Lots of 100%. And we have also more than 10 scholarships that are still coming. I am preparing the videos for you guys. But also you can book one-on-one session for support, and I will be more than happy to do that and to show you. You will be able to also have sample essays of my friends who are traveling to Germany this year, and a friend of mine who also received the support and he's now doing his second year in Brazil. He's doing his master in Brazil. We helped him from the beginning to the end. But also we will have some guests in the following days to explain how this experience with me was for them to secure the fully funded scholarship and how is their journey has been so far. So this was kind of like a generic scholarship. So if you guys have any question regarding the scholarship, I would be more than happy to give you more clarification regarding the scholarship, so you guys can learn a little bit more and avoid some of the things that bother most of us when we are starting this process of writing um, for a scholarship. I might have left a lot of things. I can't provide a personal statement or study objective in this video. It's going to be long because I'll have to write from the beginning. But if you have a question regarding to that, I would be more than happy to show you. So as for now, this is all I had. I'm just waiting if you guys have questions, and I'm going to flash the question into the screen so everybody can know what you guys are asking, and then that way we can have some point. Okay, let me go back a little bit because I see here some good chats. If there is a question. Okay, so you said one of the question is already responded, which is has to do with generality of personal statement. Now I know that's not applicable for every program. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to try to always share the screen so you guys can get to know that one. Okay, another question says, if I write a draft essay and after I use AI, just emphasize the main idea and make it conciseness, is it a problem? Okay, so you can use AI, we can't avoid it. So the idea would be, if you use AI, you will need to tailor it to take it to more personalized, in a personalized version, for the reason that you need to make it personal. You have to make sure the writings reflect you. The AI might not give you examples, your personal examples. So it is supposed to be you to give those examples. So yes, you can use partially and then put, human hand on it. Okay, a friend just said, wonderful business software. I don't know what is the real name, but thank you so much. Okay, so the University of require English certification? Yes, they do, but the English certificate would, if you apply for Fulbright is going to pay for your test, so you don't need to worry. So definitely, what you might need here is just to focus more on the scholarship itself. You just work more on your essays, but when you pass the first phase, my guy, you are more than perfect to go. Because Fulbright pays for everything, so you don't need to worry from the moment you are done with the scholarship. So you just write, submit, and the TOEFL test will be paid by them. Okay, we do have another question here. Good afternoon. Tell us about GPA. Is it matter? No, don't. If you are going for US scholarship, you don't need to worry about the GPA. Most of the time, they really look for vision, the work you have done. We come from different and variety of communities and with different standards of studying. So by you mastering some of these skills of having your grades, it's okay. They don't care about that. Probably if you are going to the UK, there are some universities that might have some minimum grades. It's not very common, but it might happen. No, it might happen. Okay, so thank you for responding, and then yep, good. So we are 7 people. I'm very happy you turned in and came to discuss. This was just my first live in this channel, which I hope is just the beginning. In the coming days, we will have more and more and more. I'll be here for for 4 minutes, and then we should be done. If you guys still have questions, I am more than happy to respond. Um, in the coming days, I will be works only with scholarship that only official. No, 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 no. I work with scholarship in Portuguese as well, you know, but the problem is that for example, now we have some scholarships that are available, but they are in English. I would say 95% of the scholarship I share, they are in English, because most of English countries are the ones that share the most. But we do have Portuguese scholarships. And as I told you, I have a friend who I helped from the beginning, and he's studying in Brazil right now. Definitely he's studying in Portuguese. So I also help people who are applying for Portuguese related scholarships. So you don't need to worry about that. If you have any scholarship, you have some doubts on how to craft progetto, by example, we can do that in a way that it um, helps you to make it. All right. We still have 2 more minutes if you guys have questions, and I would be more than happy to respond. Next week, probably I'm going to have a chat here to respond questions about Fulbright. I'm planning to have a talk on Fulbright. I know that Fulbright is okay. Another question: how to find out the universities in the U.S.? All right, you can just go to Google. I don't know if this is going to be possible, but let me just try. Oh, no, 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 it's not going to work here. You need to go to Google and then write your course and write masters and write for example, write the course, for example, public master in public health, USA. Just that. And then Google will show you probably the best universities. And before you decide where to choose, there are some strategies you need to look at. So I hope you guys can be available for the following videos, and I'll show you, I walk you through the filling of the form and what things you need to avoid. Otherwise, you will have big problems. So we will do that in the following days. I will see if I can do that on Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday. As long as people are applying for Fulbright, then I can make another live session where we can discuss. But just go to Google and write master, the name of the master, and then USA. It will show you a list of university. How to choose is another deal. We will discuss that in the coming days. So far, I can't see any other question. Let me go to Facebook. Okay, I cannot see any comment on Facebook. Probably it's because of time, you know. Many people at this time, they must be busy. You know, it's still day and all of this stuff. Do you still have any question? We are just at the end. So the session I will run the next day is going to be on Facebook mainly. The idea of the session is going to be in Portuguese. I need to make sure I have more Mozambicans uh, included and people from Angola as well. Yeah. So I will book it for Tuesday night, probably 7 p.m. because I know it is the time many people are available to follow. So we will talk about Portuguese scholarships. So guys, thank you so much for today. It was just an experiment or debate, and I'm very happy to see you here. And we will have our discussions on Facebook so we can have more and more people. So thank you for today, and bye bye. I'll see you.